Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to get the acrylic nails at home. We're going to be using tips and acrylic and everything, so I'll show you step by step on what to do. First, you just want to file your nails. You want to take all of that shine and oil off of the top of your nails. I like to use just a regular file so that it's not too harsh. It's 100 by 180 grit, so one side is 100, one side is 180, and I just go over the top of them to get off all of the shine and oil. That way the nail tip and the acrylic will stick a whole lot better. And I do get this file at Sally's. That is my local store here that has nail supplies. A lot of the stuff that I get is either on eBay or at Sally's, but I will leave the links down below to let you guys know. Once I have all of that, I'm going to be taking this cuticle push-upper. I don't know what it's called. It just pushes up your cuticles as well as trims them if you need them trimmed. I usually don't do that because I don't want to cut my cuticles, but I just push them up so that they're all nice and even. And I got this at Sally's as well. Now we're going to be taking the nail tips and the glue. I use this Kiss glue from Sally's. I use several different glues, but this is the one that I'm going to be using right now. And we're just going to be taking some tips that I had bought off of eBay. Again, it will be linked down below. And we're going to start sizing the tips to the fingernails. You want to make sure that you have your fingernail tips either a little bit bigger or just right on your nails. You do not want them to be too small to where you have to push down the nail tip, because then it'll cause the nail tip to lift and it just does not stay on very well if you have to force it down. Moving on to the next step is going to be clipping the nails. I only do one hand at a time because it's just a lot easier, especially when you're just starting out. It's easier to move everything around and file and everything if you have just one hand done. So we will start clipping the fingernails, and I'm just using regular nail clippers. As you can see, I did leave one finger with a nail on it just because I had just glued that one down and I didn't want to cut it too soon, just to make sure that the glue and everything is nice and set. But we will go ahead and start filing our shape that we desire, and I'm just going to be using that same file that I used on my nail beds. Moving on, we're going to be using the OPI Band-Aid, and I just lay this over the top of the nail. I don't use a whole lot, just a little bit on each nail. This will help with the acrylic to, not lift as much, and to dehydrate the nail bed, just so that there's no oil again, and helps everything kind of just stay for a longer time, I guess, if that makes any sense. For the acrylic and the monomer, I use my Mia Secret. It is the best that I have found. The kits at Sally's and other drugstores are not very good. This one does not cause any lifting and it doesn't dry too fast. I would definitely recommend this. I got it on eBay and I will leave that link down below. Now I will dip my brush in, which I got on eBay as well, and then I dip it into the powder. I usually try to do about 3 dots. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less, just depending on your preference. And I just work it on the nail. You will see me cleaning my brush quite often just so that it's not dirty and that the acrylic powder doesn't get gooped up on the brush. And I will also clean around the sides because you don't want it to be real thick and get on your cuticle area. That will cause lifting. Now, I'm sorry that the camera is not zoomed in. I hope that you guys can see this. Next time I will try to fix the camera and everything, that way that you can see it a lot better, but I wanted to go ahead and get this video up for you guys anyways. Now, as you can see, it's not a real thick layer of acrylic, it's real thin. If you do a thin layer, then it's a lot easier in the end. You won't have to file as much down and it's just a lot easier to work with. Now, depending on the nail tips that you get, you may have to put a thicker layer on the tip part. That way it's not real flimsy, but I usually don't have a problem with that. It just depends on the brand of nail tips that you have. Again, I use about 3 beads. I take one and put it right in the middle of the nail. That's kind of where the stress area is. And then I will go to the top where the cuticle area is at. And I'm really careful. Make sure that you don't get any acrylic on your cuticle or any part of your skin. If you do, just clean it off with the brush. That way it does not cause any lifting, because once you get some lifting in your nail, then the water is going to get inside of it and it's going to cause it to either fall off really easily or get a little kind of like a green color on your nail, and you don't want that. Again, don't go real crazy with the monomer and the acrylic powder. You want just a nice thin but strong layer of acrylic on your nail. That way it secures your nail down and looks nice and even, but it will save you a lot of time on filing, and usually that's what takes the most time, is having to file your nails down. So if you use just a little bit of acrylic at a time, you can always build it up if you need to. Here is more of a close-up of what my nails look like. You can really see the tips. They are not a white tip, it's a clear tip, but because I didn't use a real thick layer of the acrylic, you can see them pretty well. I don't mind that because I usually put fingernail polish over them. Next, I'm just going to be taking that same file that I used earlier, and I'm going to be reshaping them a little bit because the acrylic will kind of lose the shape just a little, not a whole lot, but you do want to go back over the shape of the nail. As you can see, I'm grabbing my nail case and setting my finger on top of it just so that it gives me something sturdy to rest my fingers on while I'm filing. It's just a technique that I like to do, whatever your preference is. Next, I went ahead and glued on all of my nails because that's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to go ahead and put the OPI Band-Aid on the nails now, and then go ahead and get started with the acrylic. Now that you have all of the acrylic on, it's time to go ahead and start reshaping these nails just like we done the other hand. Now moving on, this is going to be the tricky part, and the drill that I have, I got it from Sally's. I don't remember the brand, but I will link it down below. It is not the best drill out there, but for beginners it works just fine. I do eventually want to get one that plugs into the wall. I feel like it'd be more powerful, but if you're just starting out, this one was, I believe, about $30, so it's very affordable. And basically I'm just going around and filing around the cuticle area to make the acrylic thinner and so that it does not cause any lifting. Now, if you don't have a drill, don't worry, you can do it with a regular nail file just as easy. I just like to use my drill because sometimes it's faster, but I still use my regular file as well. Now I'm going to be taking my nail file and going over the top of the nail just so that it gets all of the bumps and ridges out in case I did not put enough acrylic powder on a certain area. That way it's all nice and smooth. Now I'm going to be taking this buffing block that I got at Sally's as well, and I'm going to be doing basically the same thing that I just done, filing the top of the nail. That way it makes it all nice and smooth, and if you have any scratches from doing the filing, then it'll smoothen everything out. So when you go and put your fingernail polish on, there's not any, scratches. That is the end of the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will answer them for you. Thank you for watching. Bye.